Might be
The
interesting, but I'm
definition of
curious.
one-hit wonder is a group or singer that has only one hit record. Typically, after one of their earliest songs blows up, one-hit wonders find it hard to follow up with a record impressive or
But I be
catchy
feeling
enough
bad
to
for one-hit
maintain that
wonders, bro,
hype,
because they
which
be having so
typically
much
results in them
potential, but
falling
like
off
they
right
can't keep
after.
up the
So today we're
potential,
gonna
so
be
they
looking
just
into
fall off, bro.
5
That should be
one-hit wonders
tragic.
and seeing what they're up
Like
to
it really be
nowadays.
tragic,
Starting
bro.
off with CJ and his hit song Whoopty. Real quick,
Bro,
I just
this
wanna
song had everyone in a chokehold, bro. Like this song was so tough,
explain
bro.
my criteria for these one-hit wonders, which is an artist that like his song.
But Whoopty was so tough back then, bro, and it's still tough, but I don't care. But Whoopty is like a fire ass song, bro. It sucks that CJ fell off, but he fell off because he was like a fake Crip or fake Blood, whatever he was, bro. I feel bad. But that song was fire though, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. That song was really fire, bro. It had the whole East Coast in a chokehold, bro. Like that song was really fire.
CJ is a rapper who many know for his song Whoopty. And literally nothing
Whoopty!
else.
Like you
People
had
literally
niggas saying
refer to
Whoopty
him
without even
as
know what that
CJ
mean, bro. And I
parentheses
still don't know
Whoopty
what that
because
means.
they don't know any other songs from him. So CJ began his rap career as a kid and started posting music to YouTube and SoundCloud when he was just 14 years old.
Okay.
He released a handful of songs over the years and saw a little buzz after.
Oh
he
yeah,
left
Bop
to
wasn't
take
that bad
over
too, bro. It was like a
6ix9ine
little
feature
catchy song
for the
too. It
song
was like a
Pop in
Whoopty part 2,
2018.
but it was still
So,
good.
That's what I'm saying. That's my story.
Damn, that nigga has facial hair now?
The Whoopty
Okay.
song was my first song that I ever made, and I just blew up. Nah.
Well,
You
that's
gotta
the
do
song that
that
put you on the
research,
map
you
though,
gotta do your
bro.
homework. I've been doing this for years. 10
Damn.
years plus.
10
I
years?
just happened to create Whoopty, and it happened to be the song that blew up.
But other than
W
that
shit
little
though,
bit of
W shit.
information, he was relatively unknown and hardly had much music out. Until, of course, he released his drill song Whoopty in July of 2020. This song was a smash hit, blowing up on YouTube and TikTok. It featured a catchy hook and a sample that has
Whoopty!
already
That
been
song was
used
so
by drill
tough,
legend
bro.
Pop Smoke, King Von, FBG Duck, and more. The
Okay.
YouTube video has over 450 million views, and the song itself went 2 times platinum.
Okay.
Shortly after the virality of this song, he signed a deal with Warner Records. He
Okay.
followed up Whoopty with the song Bop, which did
Yo,
all
Bop was tough too, bro. I'm not gonna forget about Bop, but apparently he was like shaking ass in Bop, but like it was confirmed that it was a female that just had the same pants as him. But we actually thought he was shaking ass in Bop, bro. Like we actually thought the nigga was like busting ass in Bop, bro. It was really funny back then. It was really funny, man.
Right, and then released his album Loyalty Over Royalty, which did not
Yo, we did
perform
not
well
hear
at
this
all
shit, bro.
when
We did
compared
not
to his
hear this
previous
shit,
hit.
bro.
With single after single, CJ was struggling to replicate the success he saw with Whoopty until he
Damn,
eventually
that
parted ways
sucks.
with Warner Records.
We had our differences with the label, and we decided to part ways. I'm gonna leave it at that.
But I do want to clarify, a lot of people who aren't doing so hot like to rephrase being dropped by their label as parting ways or having disagreements. It's very
But
possible
why you on
that
this
CJ
dick
was
though, bro?
dropped.
Come
Hello
on.
Yassine even claimed that he was dropped, but I'm not sure how accurate that is. Regardless, things started going downhill for CJ for a couple of reasons.
And why
One
is
of the
that?
main reasons that he couldn't replicate his success was because he just jumped on a trend. A Reddit user explained fairly well why Whoopty blew up like it did and why he couldn't create a hit like it again. They said, Whoopty came out 2020, months after Pop Smoke died. Keeping it a grand, after Pop Smoke died, people were desperate for another drill star. That's why that shit plus Dusty Locane's shit got millions of views quick, and that was their first songs. After Pop Smoke died, one of the most popular
R.I.P. though,
drill
bro.
artists,
R.I.P.,
there was a
bro.
huge longing for
R.I.P.
more
Pop Smoke,
hard-hitting,
bro. R.I.P.
aggressive
Pop
drill
Smoke.
songs, and people began trying to fill that void. Whoopty was literally made off of Pop
R.I.P.
Smoke's
to the
type
legend
beat.
of
It
drill,
was
bro.
pretty
That nigga
obvious
really
what
put on
market
for the
CJ
drill
was trying to
community,
dip his
bro.
toes
Especially in
into.
New
It
York
was
too.
actually his first drill song. There was also another controversy going on with CJ where many people were accusing him of being a fake gangster. I'm not going to go too much into detail
That was
about
proven,
this,
though.
but a
That
lot
was
of
really
people lost
proven.
respect for CJ because of this.
That sucks
Like I
too,
said,
bro.
I
That
didn't
really
want to get
sucks.
pigeonholed. I caught myself getting too deep into that drill shit. And I'm like, yo, I gotta remember, I'm not a drill artist, bro. Like I'm over here beefing with drill rappers and this and that about the drill music. So I'm like, yo, bro, like what am I doing? Like I'm sitting here like holding myself into this little circle. Meanwhile, there's a whole world and a whole other genre out there. You know what I'm saying, that I could be working with. So that's why I just started just doing my own thing.
On the comments of that interview with DJ Academics, people were saying things like, he basically realized he isn't about that life and he regrets riding the drill wave, and problem with rap is you can't be fake street. Once it's exposed, it's over. He's basically the Spanish Slim Jesus. Since all of this went down, CJ hasn't released any music of his own since January of 2023. He hasn't posted on
sucks, bro.
Instagram
That
since
really
then,
sucks.
other than a few IG stories here and there. So for now, it looks like CJ has gone MIA. He does have a very young career though, so the chance of him making a comeback is definitely possible, but with how much people just dislike him or straight up forgot about him, it's pretty unlikely.
What you know about rolling down in the deep?
Masked Wolf is
But that song was popular back then. What year was that song really popular? Because I remember hearing that song. So what year was like that song like actually popular, like in its prime, you know?
an artist whose name you
But I really don't know this nigga, so I'm gonna skip this nigga. And I don't know this nigga too, so I'm gonna skip this nigga too. I do know Silent Hill, bro, and apparently he was he turned gay. He like sticks someone's like he did some gay shit apparently. But this song had everyone in a
Silent
chokehold,
Hill is
bro.
probably the best example of a
But how
one-hit
young was he when
wonder,
he made this
because
song?
after
But this
creating
nigga
the
looks my
viral hit
age or
song
even younger.
and Dance with Watch Me, he fell off the map and later ended up in jail for murder. So Silent
Oh
Hill
yeah, I
began
forgot it
his
was
career in
murder.
8th grade,
But
working
where'd
with
that
small
get gay
producers
from?
making music and posting it online. Eventually, when he was a junior in high school, he found a guy named Bolo the producer and made
Okay.
a song that he knew would be a hit. He started getting in contact with promotion companies and eventually signed with Capitol Records as they believed in the hit potential of this song. Capitol
Okay.
Records wanted to try a new campaign leveraging the popularity of songs that encouraged the listeners to do a unique dance, which was really
Watch Me
popular at
Whip.
the time. Then they released the song.
That song
Watch
was
Me
so tough.
with
1.9
Panic.
billion
After being
views?
released on
Okay, he
January
did his
6th of
big one.
2015,
Okay,
as
my
I'm
boy
sure
did
you
his
all
big
know,
one.
This
Okay.
song and dance became the biggest thing in the world.
It was though,
went
bro.
6 times
He had
platinum
everyone doing the
with
whip
about
and
2
nay nay,
billion
bro. He
views
really
on
had everyone
YouTube.
doing that
And if
shit.
you weren't there at the time, everyone was doing this dance. Even old white dudes.
Yeah, you
on
really
the
missed
news
out
were
too, bro.
Watch me whip.
Like if you wasn't there that time, you really missed out. I'm not gonna lie.
Watch me.
Ooh, watch me, watch me. Ooh, watch me, watch me. Ooh, ooh,
The song
ooh.
remained in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 for over 6 weeks. And
Okay.
For a brief period of time, Silent Hill was on top of the world. But
Okay.
unfortunately, it is extremely hard to live up to what Silent Hill did. Watch Me wasn't popular because he was necessarily a good artist or because it was a good
was just a
song,
popular
but because
trend
it
at
was
the
a
time.
fun song accompanied with a fun dance, which is
Yeah.
nearly impossible to replicate. So Silent Hill's career began to decline. In
That
2018,
sucks, bro.
he followed up with his debut album Fresh Out of High School, in which most songs didn't even crack 100,000 plays on Spotify.
Damn.
Understandably, Silent Hill had been dealing with some mental health issues during this time. He grew up in Stone Mountain, Georgia, a small town with a big drug problem. He even claimed that he was born with a bunch of drugs in his system.
I was
That
born
sucks,
with
bro.
weed, coke,
That really
heroin,
sucks.
Pills, all type of drugs in my system. I saw family members talking to walls. I watched family members fight. I watched family members try to kill each other. Nobody should have to watch that.
Combine all that trauma with knowing that you can never live up to the viral hit song you made, knowing that your 15 minutes of fame are over, and it makes
Damn.
sense why he began to spiral downward. He was actually dropped by Capitol Records before his debut album even released, once they had finished milking as much money as they could from Watch Me with merch, tours, concerts, and everything in between.
At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I was 17, but I'm 20 now.
Oh, he was
and,
17 when he made that
the
song?
deal I
That's
had,
lit though, bro.
I got it
That's
terminated.
lit. That nigga was my
Got
age when he
released.
made like a popular dance song, bro.
we
That's
got
really
working on
lit,
the
bro. I'm not gonna
situation.
hate, bro.
I'm working
I
on
was
the
gonna hate, but that's
situation
really
right
lit though. I'm gonna give him his props,
And-
bro, because that's
Well,
fucking
he may have
insane.
acted like
That's
everything
really
was cool
insane.
on the outside. On the inside, it wasn't. He talked about his mental health issues in
Fucking
2019
demons,
on
bro.
the
Come
advice
on,
of his
bro.
publicist, Chanel Hudson. She said that she noticed a decline in his mental health when he started missing important TV appearances and attributed it to how often he was traveling around the world and performing. Apparently, he even tried taking his own life after the pandemic hit, which was followed by an even further spiral downward.
Luckily, he
was
didn't,
put in
though,
jail
bro.
twice
Luckily,
in
he didn't,
California
bro.
for domestic violence and gun charges, and was later arrested for speeding, going over 140 miles per hour.
Okay.
Then Silento hit the lowest of lows when he caught a murder charge. In
Bro, come on.
2021,
Oh, yeah, I
Silento
forgot he
was
killed his
indicted for malice
cousin.
Murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, and the possession of
But
a
do they say why he
firearm
killed
while
his
committing a
cousin? Like, what was the
felony. He
reason of him
accused
killing his cousin?
Frederick Rooks.
What was the
There is
reason?
very little info on this case, and I
Damn.
don't think he's been sentenced yet. But in
Okay.
2021, he did release an album called Bars Behind Bars,
And that
which
shit
most
did
songs
no
didn't even
numbers,
crack
bro.
10,000 plays on
Holy
Spotify.
shit, that nigga
Other
really
than a
fell
leaked
off,
jail
bro.
Photo, there is no
Nigga, that's him? That's the guy that made Whippin' Nene? I'm not gonna lie, he looks fucking crazy, bro. It gotta be the drugs, bro. Nigga has a high top. He's still rocking that high top, bro. Maybe it was cool when he made that little Whippin' Nene song, but right now in the big 2025, that cut is nasty. Does he have pigtails too? I thought only white bitches can have pigtails, bro. What the fuck? No, I'm not gonna lie. Even though he's in jail and maybe he's stressed too, this cut's nasty. He needs to restart his hair pronto, bro.
No
That cut's
information
really
surrounding
nasty.
Silento's whereabouts lately, but I think it's safe to assume he's awaiting trial. Please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about. I just threw these guys on the list because I thought it was funny, but I'm sure some of you have wondered at one point or another.
Oh, this
what
song was
happened to
tough
the
too,
guys
bro.
who made the
This
What
song
Does
was
the
really
Fox
tough.
Say song.
What does
So
the
let's
fox
check it
say?
out. Also, I'm probably not going to pronounce any of their names correctly, so forgive me. Always very into music. Ylvis is a duo composed of two Norwegian brothers, Vegard
Okay.
and Bard Urheim.
Oh, they were
always very into
Norwegian?
music,
That's lit,
playing
though.
multiple instruments and even being in their school's
I knew a
choir.
bitch from
Under the
there,
name
and she was a
Ylvis,
little
they
freak
started doing
freak.
variety
She had that
shows,
big ass
radio
booty,
shows,
bro.
and a
Holy
bunch of other
shit, her
things
booty
after
was
high
big as
school,
hell, bro. I
displaying
miss
their
her,
range
bro.
of talent.
Her name was
After
Mia,
doing
bro.
a
Her
few
name was
variety
her
shows, in
booty was so
2010, they did
big.
another that
Damn.
sold out, and they also launched a comedy talk show. After their talk show was renewed for a second season, they created a production company and continued working on their comedy talk show. And
Okay.
that's how their famous song "The Fox" came to be. Songs like "The Fox" and "Stonehenge" were made for the show or to promote the show as parody and/or comedy songs.
Damn,
along with the
1.1
music
billion
videos.
views on their name, bro. That's lit, bro. Even though it was like for a whole different purpose, it still did its part, bro. And they still had 1.1 billion views. Niggas really did their big ones with that shit.
But they were
Like,
also
they really did their
uploaded
big
to
ones with that
YouTube
shit.
and streaming services, where they would eventually go viral. The Fox,
Okay.
or What Does the Fox Say, in particular, was extremely successful, as I'm sure
Okay.
you have all heard it, and it has over 1 billion views on YouTube. It also peaked at number 6 on the US Billboard Hot 100 for 3
Okay,
weeks, so you may be
WW,
surprised
okay.
to find
Number
out that
6
the
is
song
crazy,
hasn't
bro.
even gone platinum. So I'm kind of breaking my rule here, as it only went gold. However, I believe this song goes beyond plaques, as I think it was a generational joke song that
It was.
everyone loved.
It was a
They
joke
got
song?
invited onto the
That song
Ellen
was tough,
DeGeneres
though, bro. I ain't
Show,
gonna lie, that
Jimmy
song was really
Fallon,
tough.
The Today Show, and much
It wasn't
more.
tough,
They
but it was
even
like a
won
tough
few
dance
awards
to
for
it,
their
bro.
Music. But as I'm sure you may have noticed, music wasn't their sole focus, as these were two comedy songs from their talk show, so clearly they had it made in other avenues. They continued releasing music and even put out an album that was a collection of all of their popular songs from YouTube, but none of their songs got nearly as much traction as
Damn,
the
they
Fox
really
did.
fell
On
off
the
with
bright
that shit,
side,
bro.
It didn't seem like Ylvis really wanted to be
Niggas
huge
really fell off
superstars
with
or
that shit.
musicians in the first place, as they had many other things they were doing, and it seems like they're still pretty popular across the pond. For example, in 2018, they released a documentary series called Stories from Norway, where they
Okay.
took big headline stories from Norway and
Was it,
turned
like,
them into
popular, or
musical
did it, like, not do
documentaries.
numbers
And much
too?
more recently, they started
Guess
creating
we'll never
content
gonna
for
know.
VGTV, which is Norway's largest streaming service. So it seems like the boys from Ylvis are doing great. Anyways, I just wanted to include them in this video because I thought it was funny.
WVid, bro. I'm not gonna lie, even though I was